Good morning, everyone. It's early here. And yes, I'm inside. And as you can see, some things are still not finished down here in the basement. My room, though, is really beautiful. Hi, and here's little guy. Coda, say hi. Say hi, Coda. Say hi. Say hi. Yes. Oh, wait. What? You want to be part of the video? Oh, yeah. No matter where I go, right? Especially with my children, they all have dogs too, cats, sometimes some other critters. Hmm? Except for my youngest one who travels too much. Huh? She's 14, and she is. Oh, I better move my Bible. You never know when she lets go. Huh? My oldest daughter, for some reason, has this odd luck of always encountering animals with some neurological problems or something. Does she have any? Oh, absolutely. She is the sweetest dog. She loves attention. But when she doesn't quite get her way, oh, she has her own way to let you know. Huh? One way, yeah, I gotta have a bucket and a mop ready. But, say, we're human beings and we can figure you out, don't we? Yes, yeah. So, nobody likes to kennel their dogs. Nobody does. But this one needs it. And she does really well with it, and it gives her some direction. Isn't that right? Huh? Isn't that right? Sweetest dog. Never bite anybody or anything. Nothing. No. No, right? Yeah. But, and she can give you this look. You can just look and go, oh, she's going to do something. She is. She gives, absolutely has this just look, but like a human who, yeah, okay, just wait. You just wait. I'll find my time. Huh? Right? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Are you going to let me read now? Go on. Go on. Go lay down. Oh, you just gave me this what? You're not telling me what to do. Hmm? What? This dog doesn't bark either. I don't know if I've ever heard her bark. You don't bark. You just give the looks. Huh? You bark with your looks. Right? Yeah? Jesus, I think I'll go in your room now. You going to go in my room? Hmm? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Huh? What you gonna do? I just love spending time around animals. There's just nothing more beautiful, huh? Yeah. What? What is it? So, oh, one reason I'm up so early. Last night, both of my grandchildren came down, wanted to sleep with Grozy. Of course, I'm not going to say no. Are you kidding me? Even if I have to end up on the floor, yes, they can sleep with me, right? Yes? Oh, so wonderful to be loved. Come on now. And, oh, dear me. I wake up and I'm not kidding, I had about this much room at the end of my bed. On my side of the bed, this much room. Wow, I'm amazed I can actually fit in this small space. And I'm turning the light on and I'm looking. Now how did that happen? And my little granddaughter, she was she was sideways in the bed, and my grandson was on the other side, had about as much room as I had, and she was just stretched out between the two of us. Yeah, this way. And I'm looking and going, oh, that ain't gonna work. Not if I want to sleep a little longer. So I righted her out, right? Anyway, and so it was kind of an all-nighter where I can't believe how a child can move this much. I mean, we're talking. One time I turned on the light. I'm going, looking at her feet right next to my head. She completely turned around. How does a child move so much in one night, right? Anyway, so when it was a semi-appropriate time to get up, I started making my coffee and said, "Ugh, I'm done. I'm done." So they're both knocked out up in there, still snoozing. They should be. The days here are just filled with just the children so busy. They're just so busy. And when people hear all they do is just sit on their devices, even at a young age, and TV, this, that. Well, it's not true in this household. I can tell you that. It's yeah, yeah, all the interesting stuff they come up with. And one thing that really surprised the one other little boy that I also watch. He loves math, right? And so let's play the math game, where I give them a an example or a problem to solve. And of course, since they're different ages, I have to, okay, now this one's for you, and if you don't know it, you guys can think about it, and vice versa, and then make sure that everybody gets to answer first and think about it first. So we're doing head math. It's not written down. They're not writing it down. It's all, they have to do it in their head. And that is such a good exercise for children. Also, to two little ones, the boys who are just 7 years old, they're starting their multiplication tables already, or doing them from 1 through 10. And it's such a great and what do you do with multiplication tables? It's something that you memorize. That is that, okay? And it's interesting to teach them, and they love it. They just and yep. So okay, so you didn't get this, you're not quite, and so then I'll give them help. And okay, how much is this, and this? Now add this, and add it up. Add it up instead of multiplication. Yeah, okay. Then I do it again. Okay, so 1 times 3 is how much? 2 times 3 is how much? 3 times 3 is until they have it. Right? And they're not because they want to do it, right? And if, I've taught for so long my own children, no, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a certified teacher or anything. I just love to teach. It doesn't matter what it is, I will teach it, even if I, as I said, taught fine arts. Uh, I'm a painter. Oh, I'm an accomplished artist or something. No, absolutely not. I can just figure out, simplify things that then when I teach it to children, I don't know about adults, but if I teach it to children, it works. It just works. Yes, the talent that I have, it's great. It's great to have that talent. So the children being interested, okay, all right. Uh, we play all kinds of other different games, alphabet games, All right, name an animal. Let's start with the letter A. And it's funny, the adults even around get involved, and suddenly go, hey, I just remember one for the letter before. So, either 5 or 10, depending, animals for each letter that you can find. And, well, anyway, so X, there's not an animal that starts with an X, by the way. We ask Siri. So, yes, of course, summertime. We want the children to have fun, this and that, kind of not associated with school. But if they want it, if that's a part of their life, right? 3 quarters of their year, and if that's what they want to do, then hey, yes, absolutely, right? Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so TV, their little devices or whatever, yeah, they can play them anytime they want to. I don't restrict them. As I said, I don't need to because they're so little in their hands. Right? Yes, and then when they actually do, I'm going. Oh, now I get to sit down. Oh yes. Oh, get a breather. uh, yeah, and as far as, go, why don't you go and watch a movie now? So I have to, no, no, absolutely not. Ah, no. No, no, no. That'd be self-serving again. No, no, no. Okay. So I saw one. I'm just gonna mention this one, and I shared it on my Facebook page. A pastor, actually, a preacher, went into one of those drag shows where parents were there with children as little as just a few months or whatever, and he goes in and he starts giving them scripture. What are you doing as parents here? And also the drag queen said to look on how you're dressed. Look what you look like in front of children. And what are you doing? And the parents were all, don't talk like that in front of our children, giving scripture, talking about God, Jesus. Come on now. Seriously? Where's the head of these parents? Unbelievable. But here's the thing, besides that. Seen so many videos where things are addressed about children. God, give children the freedom to explore at the what? Their sexuality at the age of 4, 3, or 5, even 10 is not necessary. Yet the outside world, teach them about how to take care of things, appreciate things, right? Give them less, and what they have, teach them how to take good care of it. That's wrong. That's wrong in this world now, really. But as I said, so many people saw so many things where people really encourage others. We got to take care of our children, got to protect them. There are things going on out there that is really going to mess with their head, their heart, their head, their decision making, their conscience once they grow older. And you know what? Every child that survives childhood will grow into an adult. I just wonder on what kind of an adult these people, these parents are looking for in their children when they're exposing them to this unmoral environment. But thankfully, I think there's a lot of people out there starting to just look, let me teach you. No, we're not just going to accept that. That's not my child, but I'm the one who has to take care of your child's health, mental health, because you're not willing to do so. So, heads up to that preacher, yes. And he did it in a proper way. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. Yes. Anyway, okay, so let's get going here. Okay. Oh, it's good to see people fight for children out there. Yes, 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 yes. Unbelievable. Compared to the, oh, uh, blessing of the mother is the, instead of baby shower, blessing of the mother, right? Was that little gathering called? I love it. I love it. Call it that. I love it. I'm perfectly fine with that. That's beautiful. I thought of that gathering, blessing of the mother, and then I see these parents at a drag show with their little children, and it was like night and day, night and day. Even the environment was just it wasn't not attractive, not in a drab room with, as I said, and so sad. Why are these parents not at a playground with their children? I'm just wondering. In a more healthy environment. Night and day. It's almost as if I got to, just through this video, I got to experience good, absolute good I was a part of. And I see here absolute evil. It's, to me, that's absolute evil. As a parent, can you just groom your child towards something like this? This is not about acceptance. This is not about including people or things. That's not what that is about. No, I don't believe that. I can't see how that is even. Oh, what happened to my... Oh, where did I go with it? I must have left it out there. Well, let's find where we are at. Good thing I know the Bible so well. There we are. Then I'll have to go look for my little bookmark. I must have been in a hurry. Okay. Deuteronomy 34. This is our last one in Deuteronomy, you guys. I'm making it through another book. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, we have a little footnote here too. Let's see what that is in 34. The death of Moses. Then leaving the plains of Moab, Moses went up Mount Nebo, the peak of Pisgah, opposite Jericho, and Yahweh showed him the whole country, Gilead as far as Dan, the whole of Naphtali, the country of Ephraim and Manasseh, the whole country of Judah as far as the western sea, the Negeb and the region of the valley of Jericho, city of palm trees as far as Zoar. Yahweh said to him, This is the country which I promised on oath to give to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I shall give it to your descendants. I have allowed you to see it for yourself, but you will not cross into it. There in the country of Moab, Moses, servant of Yahweh, died as Yahweh decreed. He buried him in a valley in the country of Moab, opposite Beth Peor. But to this day no one has ever found his grave. Moses was 120 years old when he died, his eye undimmed, his vigor unimpaired. Okay, we know that his eyes were dimmed and his vigor was impaired, became impaired. Because, as I said, again, what did we read towards the end of Deuteronomy before? And again, I find this interesting. When people pass away, it's suddenly they become all great people, this and that, and yeah, they don't speak ill of the dead, right? Okay, but I'd rather not say something about someone when it's just recently someone passed away. And, he was such a great guy, this and that. And I thought to myself, no, he wasn't. In some areas he was, but in some areas he was absolutely filthy and no. Tolerated in some ways. I have to say, why don't people speak up against that? Right? Yes, on what's happening. Okay, just and again, speaking up, right? Yes, or at least confront the person. Right? And yeah, so here again too. Yeah, Moses had problems. He had problems. He tried really hard, and of course, he had a very difficult job. Okay, uh, so well, let's just look at the good things. That is, yeah, that's good and fine. But the thing is what about all the, as I said, there's the experiences that I have of spirit world and the spirits that have already passed on, and humans passed on. They're not. They come here. They come back, or one gets these inklings of a cry for help. At least that's how it is for me, because of certain things that just not being addressed and working as a spirit world on your spiritual growth is very difficult without help. Yes, so yeah, I get it. Someone passes away, you're not going to go up there and say, oh, well, this and this and this happened, and well, that's really something, or I need to address here about that person. It wasn't so good. And no, you go up and we need to pray about that person as well, because we all know there were some things that just didn't go right with the person. So let's continue to help that person to grow in spirit world as well, rather than, in a way, making up lies. Yes, there was an interesting little blurb that a pastor gave, so, or someone did. A pastor passed away, Okay, now and then the MC, whoever was there before the funeral, said, anybody that has something to say about this pastor, come on up. So it's 50 people got in line, and one got up and, yeah, when I wasn't feeling well, I was in the hospital, he came every day and he encouraged me to get better. Another one goes up, when I had lost my job, he came by every week with a bag of groceries, and so on, through 50 people. All these wonderful stories about this pastor. In the end, the last one that goes up was a kind of a disheveled younger man, and goes up and stands in front of the microphone and says, well, now I know, says, the man laying in that casket was my father. Now I know, when I needed him, why he wasn't there. The moral of the story, make sure you know what's going on in your own family. Eh? Yes, love the people out there as well. Help out the people out there as well. But there we go, right there, right? Yes? Oh, that's nice. Nice to hear all these stories. But when I needed it, when I needed my father the most, he was nowhere to be found. Hmm? Well, anyway, so just saying, not saying now everybody needs to go up and tell all the bad stuff. Just saying, this is one of those that one stays honest and someone passes away. And again, all the fighting going on afterwards for the stuff that a person had belies often than the whatever, all the good thing, all the great things, this, that, then that should carry over to the possessions, the material possessions of the person as well. And they should be treated with respect as well. Don't you think? Anyway. Okay. The Israelites wept for Moses on the plains of Moab for 30 days. 30 days. The days of weeping for the mourning rites of Moses came to an end. Joshua son of Nun was filled with the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands on him, and him the Israelites obeyed, carrying out the order which Yahweh had given to Moses. Since then there has never been such a prophet in Israel as Moses, the man whom Yahweh knew face to face. What signs and wonders Yahweh caused him to perform in Egypt against Pharaoh, all his servants, and his whole country. How mighty the hand and great the fear that Moses wielded in the eyes of all Israel. This last part is really interesting to me. What did the Israelites remember about Moses? What was it? That's interesting. I'm gonna read this one more time. Maybe you guys catch on like I do. Since then there has never been such a prophet in Israel as Moses, the man whom Yahweh knew face to face. What signs and wonders Yahweh caused him to perform in Egypt against Pharaoh, which also interesting. Here it says now, it was Moses who performed these miracles. Oh, interesting. Mm. All his what signs and wonders Yahweh caused him to perform in Egypt against Pharaoh, all his servants, and his whole country. How mighty the hand and great the fear that Moses wielded in the eyes of all Israel. Interesting what people remember here, though. There's the wisdom of Moses, the beautiful guidance that he was able to give to the people through our God. It's not mentioned here. All right, we have a little more to go here. The Deuteronomic history. The books of Joshua, Judges, Samuel, and Kings form one great history, telling the story of Israel from the settlement in Palestine until the Babylonian exile. The materials on which the author draws vary enormously from folk tales through cycles of stories about Elijah and Elisha, the court records of the kings. But the final editor is concerned above all with one viewpoint. Fidelity to Yahweh brings prosperity, while desertion of him brings punishment. Well, that's throughout these 600 years, Israel, 600 years, there you go. Israel again and again deserts the covenant and needs to be drawn back to its duty. This lesson of history is taught both by the selection and shaping of material and by the editorial comment which points to moral from time to time. Points to moral from time to time. I think this is all about just that. The theological angle is typical of the religious reforms of 622 before Christ and, and of the book of Deuteronomy, which is associated with them. And for this reason, modern scholars have given the group of books this name, though there must have been a final edition some 50 years later after the destruction of Jerusalem. Oh, are we missing some stuff? Oh, okay. No idea. So interesting on how this is. Okay, so you got all this. Read with caution. Uh, Also, there was a part in it here where when was this all put in here actually, and who decided on how much is given appropriately or uh, correctly. Interesting. Hmm. Well, anyway, it is what it is. That's it. We weave our way through the maze to find what? Yeah, the true nature of God. You can find the true nature of God in the Bible. Yes, you absolutely can. Yeah. Anyway, so there it is. Now I gotta put something else in here until I find that other one. I have no idea what I did with it. No idea. All right, let's put the family pledge, the book of Joshua. Oh, dear me. Book of Joshua. Oh, oh. Ah, now I get the weekend off, right? No, 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 no. Not this weekend. This weekend I'm also taking care of those two so that what? The parents can go and do something together. Yes. Telling you what, grandparents, if they are around, if one has them, so important. Yes, yes, my husband happens to be here as well. Happens to be here as well. So we'll have a fun weekend. Yes, with the grandchildren together. It's what it is. As I said, God works in His own mysterious ways, and yeah, that's what it is. Wonderful. So, but we're gonna take it easy this weekend. Yes, 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 yes. And I hope that the parents will have a wonderful time together. It's important. Yes. And of course, it doesn't just have to be the grandparents. It is important to have a little bit of a support system around oneself when you are parents, right? Yes? Yeah. It is support system, not people who come and tell you what to do or if you're good parents now, okay? I'm talking the ideal, which the ideal exists here. Okay. And uh, sometimes the children come to ask me a question about something, and it's to me, it's immediately I can't make a decision over that. You're going to have to ask mom or dad. Mom or dad says okay, then I'm good with it, but that's not a decision I make. You never take the authority away from the parents over their children. You never, ever, ever, ever do that. Okay? In the ideal, right? Of course, you don't turn your head away if there's abuse going on, but there's no abuse going on here. This is an ideal little family with the ideal support around them. Yes, and I know my place where it belongs. Yes. I also never override a decision of the parents. Not happening. That's very, very important as well. Mm, yes. To keep a good relationship, right? Yes. And the parents have to be able to trust me. Of course, though I am the mother of one of them, I have to still, they have to be able to trust me, right? Yes. Right. So I like that. That trust. That, well, that, that's a great accomplishment when you gain the trust of the people. And here at the end of Moses' life, supposedly he had the trust of the people. Then he blessed Joshua, who then the people trust him and follow him. You think it's just because of the blessing that they now are willing to follow Joshua? We know a little bit about Joshua, right, on how he followed direction when Moses gave him direction. And none, right? Yes, followed direction. Right? So Joshua must have already established a good rapport with the people. The people could look up to him. Why do you think that is? Most likely because they've seen Joshua follow God's guidance. Right? Well, he did. And ended up what? Getting the lead to move the people to Canaan. Yeah. Should be an exciting book to read, right? Yes, I say that every time, don't I? And then the good things are to come. Come on now. But main thing we're learning. We're learning together, and we're the path. The path has got to be under the guidance of God. Done. And the best guidance, even in today's world, what I see is keep the 10 Commandments. Just keep them. It's a good start on clearing a path in front of us. Then to walk what? Smoothly. Smoothly. I don't know if you guys ever walked through the wild, in the woods, but not where there's a nice path to go through and this is all so sweet and nice and you know. No, really through the woods, wild, with briars. You got to be careful that you don't step into a ground nest of bees or something, a snake, right? Yeah, where you really got to get over trees and branches and move this aside and that aside, right, to get to the top. Don't slip, right? Just got to get to the top of a mountain. Hmm? I remember telling you this little story, then we're done. It's rough. It's rough when you, but it's also it's you clear one, right, one step after another, and often you say, "Whoa, wow, what is that? I've never seen this before." I found many plants that way. This that, but you clear in your life. You start to clear all these things little by little away, right, and so that you have a smoother path to go along. And once you are there, now my life now. I've practiced. I can do this now, and I'm going to keep going according to God's laws, God's guidelines. Done. And you realize that, yes, there are still obstacles in the way, but one deals with it completely different. One is confident. Right? One has knowledge now. One has experience now, right? On how not to step in a hornet's nest or a ground's nest. Right? Oh, something's wiggling there. Oh, okay. Oh, hi. That's happened to me. I walked up a mountain, and dogs didn't even, they just walked right past it, and I did too. And then, oh, well, hi. There was a huge black snake, and non-poisonous. Oh, hi. I won't bother you. Yeah. And, but noticed it. Yes, because it gave a little bit of a, oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. So, I had, in the summertime, I had visitors, and five teenagers, something, a mother and their friends, and then my oldest granddaughter, and then, oh dear me. Okay, so, yep, let's go up a mountain, and about 10 people we were. And they came out and said, "This is how you're gonna go out there?" Some had flip flops on. I said, "You can't come in flip flops." I said, okay. I said, "You guys do what you want, but I suggest here. I'm dressed in long pants, right, a long sleeve shirt, right, yes, yeah, proper shoes." So some of them went, "No, okay, no, I didn't let them come with flip flops. That's an absolute no no. You go and put some proper shoes on." So they put on their tennis shoes to stand, and some of them still had just a tank top on and some shorts. And okay, all right. I said no. So we did. We went, and I let somebody else lead, and I thought, "Hey, this is not a good idea where we're going." They wanted to go to a scenic rock that we have on our property, where then you can oversee the beauty. It is really beautiful, but it was a rough path to go. We're going up, sure enough, the first thing, my granddaughter steps into a ground nest and gets stung on her ankle. One thing about things like that, and you got nothing with you, is you just get some clay, and we have a lot of clay there. And I just got some clay and spit on it and put that on her sting. It takes care of it just like that. She was within no time. She was fine. Didn't even swell up. And so we kept on going and got up to the top. Everybody had a great time. We were about ready to go, and one of the teenage girls steps into another ground nest. Oh, and here they're all, oh, and we were about 4 or 5. I was right there too, right? 4 or 5 of us right there, and they said, "Okay," I said, "Everybody, follow me right now." And to move away from the nest to start with. And of course, some of them followed us. Then we got to where we were going, and I started just getting the bees off of them. And I was going, there was a lot of them. And that stung me too, but not, as I said, I was dressed. How was I dressed, right? So I got it all off. Took only, a couple of minutes or not even, and that was all taken care of. The bees were gone, right? Back to, we were far enough away. Now we had people that were stung several times. I got stung twice, I think, but not, as I said, I don't have really a problem with stuff like that. And I got, okay, so I talked to the other adult that was there. Well, there's 2 more adults there. I said, "What's the situation here with these guys? Are they allergic? This, that?" And the mother didn't know. I mean, of some of them that she was just a friend to, didn't know. So I said, "Okay," I said, "it's going to take us about 30 minutes to get back, and I'll find the shortest path to do so in case one of them has a reaction, right? So we'll have to keep watching them." And so it seemed like okay. There was no immediate, because I watched them all, and there was no immediate reaction. So that's good. But how many times were they stung, right? Each. So here we are. I said, okay, I'm going to lead the way this time because I knew the mountains there, this and that. And I also knew where, okay, most likely we're going to be okay. There won't be another thing. And I said, give me a little head start. eh, And when everything's good, then you guys come behind me, right? Just in case I stepped in another ground's nest. So we went, and I literally took short the shortest path. I knew where the house was, the shortest path to the house, and we had to climb over trees, under trees. There was a lot of brush, this and that, which also with my hands, my bare hands, I just briars, this and that, just and my hands did get a little scratched up. But again, as I said, what if one of them suddenly starts to get a reaction? Right? I had nothing with me. Yeah, one should, right? Okay. At one point, one of the girls broke down. It was like, oh my gosh, okay. It wasn't like you could carry them. One of them was pretty, not, they were just stocky. It started to break down, and the, as I said, the kind of the trauma from the whole experience. They were still working through that. I said, okay. So it was, all right, you come with me. I'll hold your hand. Right? Hoping, oh, please don't let me step in another ground. As I said, I'm fine with it. I don't have a problem with it. This is not the first time for me, but, and she was okay. Suddenly she was okay. It's almost as if I took her hand. I said, come on now, we got this. And we just, let's go back to the house. I have good stuff to take care of these things. This, just bear with it. You can do it. As soon as I took her hand, she calmed down, and we forged forward. And then suddenly she started helping me, just breaking the branches, to snat a little bit, And it gave her something to do, right? Something else. Okay, said let's get everybody back to the house together. Right? Yes. So again, the one that broke down the most suddenly was out there up front with me, helping. We got back, and it was. I said it was like one of those got to clear the path for the rest of the people. Right? Yes, who what? Were less experienced. Right? Though I warned them, okay, that was there. Right? As I said, the way I was dressed, I got stung a couple of times. And I was the last one who took care of my own. Right? I could feel one right in my, and that one keeps kind of stinging me there a little. But I took care of everybody else first. Okay, make sure. Okay, everybody good. I checked everybody, made 100% sure that there were no more bees on them before I took care of myself. Right? That's what you do, don't you? Huh? No? As the leader of the group? No. Well, I did. That's what I did. Of course, I knew that a few bee stings are not going to do anything to me either, right? Yes. We got back to the house. I had that comfrey tincture, and I said, "Okay, everybody, put this stuff on." I said, "This is really good. It really helps you. It pulls the poison out just like that." And so everybody and did that, and within another, nobody had any serious allergic reactions to it. That was great. Then, gosh, I think it took a couple hours, and nobody really swelled up. This stuff was, I was amazed. I was amazed on how 10 people, 5 of us definitely got good stung. This and that, as I said, and they, a couple hours, and going, huh, one can hardly see them stings anymore, right? Yes, didn't swell up a whole big and in pain, and sure enough, then suddenly the funny story started, right? And on how, oh my gosh, and it became, wow, was that an adventure, right? Yes, yeah. The next day, I ended up going mushroom hunting, and the one girl that broke down, and then another girl said, "Well, we want to come too." I said, "Yeah, sure." I said, "I'm telling you what, there's where I'm going. There's probably could be some more of that stuff." Yeah, they didn't care. They wanted to come. We had a great time together, right? So I was especially careful. I said, "Look, just you can see activity. Right? when something like this is going on. So, and just pay attention on where you're walking and go carefully. And they did, so carefully, but it was just, they wanted to be a part of the mushroom hunting as well, right? Yes. A good leader, a good leader carries their people through difficult times, right? Through traumas, through hardship, yes. And when you do well in what you're doing, and when the people see that leader would sacrifice themselves for us, then they start to trust you. And when you're going into exactly the same environment again, the ones that actually were the most affected will go with you again. Isn't that something? Yes. All right. Children trust us as parents. They trust us 100%. We are their it. Then, as parents, we should make sure that the path that we are on with them is clean, is proper. We can do that 100%. It's not like tramping through the woods where, whoops, now you never know what you might come across, right? Yeah. Just saying. Yeah. So, one more time, heads up to that preacher. Yes. Who went to that show and said, I got to save some people here. If nothing, I've got to let them know what you're doing is wrong. Done. Okay? Now, that was my coffee. I'm going to go get me another cup. I don't know how to turn that back on. It won't stay on. I push it back on and it just goes blinks for a bit, like it's brewing or something, and it's done, and it won't stay on. I don't know what to do about that. I need to ask my daughter. That's an odd coffee machine. I push the button on again and it won't stay on. It goes right off again after about 3 minutes, and I want my coffee hot. I don't like it cold. Unless I make an iced coffee. Yeah, so got to go get a little guidance from my daughter, right? With many of those things. Uh, these newfangled things that my children have, right? I'm looking at them. How am I gonna work this? I have a clock in here too that sometimes one of the children that, like my granddaughter and that other boy, they come at different times. Sometimes very very early. So just to make sure, okay, because I'm in a different environment here. Is my inside clock still working the way it does at home? But I want to make sure, so I tried to set the alarm, which I'm not sure what happened to that. Somehow I must have not set it right. I thought it did. So again, it's like, trying to figure this stuff out without directions. Oh, there you go. We have directions. I have to ask my daughter. We have directions. We are not without directions in our lives. And the Ten Commandments is a good start to start following proper directions. Done. Huh? There's no discussion needed. That is that. And that's what we teach. And if, I don't know. I don't know what it is with adults out there who are breaking all these commandments, this and that. Don't know. But at least we can teach our children not to do so. Teach them in the proper direction. The next generation. There you go. Yes. I could say something else, but I'm not going to say that. About people who can't be corrected. Eventually, they're not going to live forever. I'm saying it anyway. How do people perish? Eventually, they all pass to spirit world. Yes? Some don't perish. They go on. Some do perish for a while, till they kind of get it, also from spirit world, and start to restore. Yes? That's just how it is. Yes? Yeah. But moving forward, don't look back. Moving forward. Right? You don't want to be Lot's wife. Moving forward, what is there that we can teach every time from the beginning is a child? There, right? Yes. Heads up again for that preacher. That's what he's doing exactly. Please raise your children in the proper way. Taking him to a drag show is not the proper way. Done. Okay? That's it. That's all I have to say today. God's love and blessings always may protect you. And I will talk to you another time. We're getting into a new book, Book of Joshua. Woo! We're moving right along. We're moving forward. Yes, we are.